Miss Webb, I think you could start now.
Okay, good deal. So welcome everybody to our town hall. Thank you so much for attending. We were starting to get a little nervous. I apologize for the mishap with the link, but I'm glad that you are on standby. So tonight we have our awesome SEL team available. They're going to introduce themselves and speak to their roles and responsibilities a little bit. I do want to preface, I've been doing this all day long, that it was, favorite book character today. So Miss Viola Swamp here. Um, so we had some fun with that today. So I just thought that if you're new and you've never met me before or seen my face, it's usually a little not so dramatic, but and dark and swampy. But so Miss Reimer, if you'd like to take over, that would be great. Oh, Miss Irene, please.
Let me do the introduction.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes a todos los padres. Gracias por unirnos con nosotros esta tarde. Tenemos nuestro equipo de SEL aquí para hablar sobre unos poquitos temas que hemos visto que los padres ocupan un poquito más información. Como supieron ahora era el día de su favorito personaje de libros, entonces por eso está Miss Webb vestida como está vestida por el día de disfraz que tuvimos hoy. Miss Reamer va a comenzar con las introducciones.
Bobadilla, can you please click to the next slide, please?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so if you're wondering what SEL stands for, it means social emotional learning, and we are the team that is responsible for your child's social emotional learning at Grimway Academy in Shafter. So we want to make sure that we are helping kids develop the right tools to self-assess their emotions and how to develop relationships with each other and also with their adults in their lives and make positive relationships. As they get older, we want them to start to make some really responsible decisions so that when challenges come their way, they can manage those situations a little better. So now we're going to go into the SEL team and kind of introduce ourselves and the role that we play in the SEL teams. Next slide, please, Bobadilla.
I'm sorry, Irene, do you want to?
Yes, please. I was like, dude, who do I tell to stop? Okay. Si han preguntado qué significa SEL, SEL es el equipo que se encarga de la parte social y emocional de aprendizaje de los niños. Nuestro trabajo es para asistir a los niños a procesar maneras de reconocer emociones, desarrollar maneras de ser un poco compasivo con otros, cómo estabilizar buenas relaciones positivas con otros, con sus compañeros o con adultos. También cómo tomar decisiones responsables para que ya cuando vayan creciendo sepan exactamente cómo tomar decisiones. Y también cómo manejar situaciones que son un poquito más que los desafía un poco. Entonces, es como efectivamente crecer emocionalmente y socialmente.
And also, I forgot to mention, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to use the chat feature. At the very end, we will be taking questions, anything pertaining to your child or the school in general, and we will be answering those questions for you at the very end.
Si tiene alguna pregunta, puede ponerlos en la parte de chat, en medio aquí de la pantalla, y vamos a responder a todas las preguntas al último.
All right, Ms. Salazar.
Hi everybody, so my name is Miss Salazar and I am the school counselor for our Shafter campus. I hope you all are having a great Monday. So this is my 4th year at Shafter. I taught 2nd grade for the previous 3 years and I just recently moved into the school counselor position. I'm super, super excited about it this year. Really looking forward to serving our campus in this new position. So some of the duties and responsibilities for the school counselor include providing individual and group counseling for students, facilitating leadership groups, providing parent and teacher resources, student goal planning and progress monitoring, and overall school climate support. And my email is listed if you guys need to reach out to me for anything. And also, just a note, the whole school has access to my Google Classroom with lots of different resources and activities around social emotional development. So the code is listed on this slide if you want to take that note down, just in case, to check if your child is connected already. And just a note, I am doing distance learning check-ins, so if you do get a phone call from me, I am just checking in with kids to see how they're feeling, point them towards any activities or resources that can help them during this time, like if they need help focusing, making friends, calming down, and things like that. And then you guys will be receiving resources pertaining to SEL from me as well, and those will go out later.
Okay. Ella es la señorita Salazar. Ella ha estado con Grimway Academy ya por 4 años. Comenzó como maestra de segundo grado los primeros 3 años. Entonces, este rol de consejera de la escuela es algo nuevo. Ella está muy emocionada por comenzar en esta nueva gira con nosotros. A lo que ella se encarga, siendo la consejera de la escuela, es también ayudar, estar en equipo con la psicóloga y las directoras, también ayudando a los niños haciendo como grupos de liderazgo o individualmente, darles consejos a los niños, también tener recursos para los padres o maestros, ayudar a los niños a establecer metas y también cómo planear para sus metas y el progreso que van monitoreando durante el crecimiento en la escuela, y obviamente dar apoyo en lo que es el clima de la escuela. Incluyó el correo electrónico en esta página aquí, le pueden mandar mensaje, y también tiene un código ella misma en Google Classroom, donde también ella se involucra con las clases. También si recibe una llamada de ella es porque también se está involucrando con los maestros, cómo les va emocionalmente a los niños. Ella también les llama a los padres para darles recursos donde pueden agarrar un poco más de apoyo o actividades que pueden hacer los niños para que se sientan bien emocionalmente y también sociablemente en todo lo que está pasando ahorita con la pandemia.
All right, I'm next. So I am Mrs. Reimert. I am your Assistant Principal of Student Affairs. So my job, I like to say, is to make school fun and to make school safe. So I make it fun by managing all of the school-wide events and incentives, just like all the dress-up days and the lit fair that we have coming up. I'm the primary organizer of all those events. And then to make school safe, I monitor, I train all of the staff in our SEL curriculums, which is getting along together in grades K-5, and the Tribes curriculum for middle school, which is 6-7. I provide feedback and training for them, and I monitor the usage and effectiveness of those SEL curriculums and make changes if needed. And I also send students to our behavioralist, our psychologist, or our counselor if needed. So if you ever have a question or concern, feel free to reach out to me, and then I can direct it to the right person.
Okay, ella es la señora Reamer. Ella se encargada de todo lo que se encarga de todos los estudiantes. Viene siendo, ella se encarga también en todo lo entrenamiento que recibimos nosotros como empleados de la escuela para ayudar a los niños socialmente y emocionalmente. Obviamente es parte del equipo de SEL, dando el mismo apoyo con todo el equipo de la psicóloga, la consejera y también la terapista de comportamiento. También sigue monitoreando todo el efecto de todo el currículo que hacemos para ayudar a los niños socialmente y emocionalmente. Ella también se encarga de todos los eventos, todos los premios que reciben los niños o reconocimientos, y también les da directo apoyo a lo que es la psicóloga y también a la consejera de la escuela. Entonces ella también monitora diferentes cosas, aspectos de la escuela también. Pero ella trabaja junto con ellos.
Next slide, please, Mr. Bobadilla.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for coming tonight. My name is Jillian Pedro. I'm the behavior specialist at Grimway. I'm the newer SEL member, and I'm looking forward to working with Grimway. A little background history. I have worked in applied behavior analysis for over 8 years, and I'm sitting to become a board certified behavior analyst. And some of the duties that I am excited about at conducting at Grimway are helping out with the leadership groups, conducting functional behavior assessments to help develop and monitor positive intervention plans, provide training or resources to parents and staff about applied behavior analysis. And I've attached my contact information, and I'll have a Google Classroom very soon for parents. And feel free to reach out to me with any questions or concerns.
Ok, ella es la señora Pedro. Ella es la más nueva empleada que tenemos en la escuela. Ella es la especialista de comportamiento. Ella, junto con la señorita Salazar, ayudan con los grupos de liderazgo con los niños. También hacen asesorías para los niños para el comportamiento y dar recursos para los padres para hacer un plan en ayudar a los niños a tener comportamiento positivo. También ayuda a monitorear a los niños individualmente a cómo le van al comportamiento o cualquier los cambios que podemos hacer, y también ayuda a los empleados también a aprender sobre cómo aplicar estos nuevos comportamientos para que los niños sigan progresando. Puso el correo electrónico de ella allí, y también ahorita le estamos formando su Google Classroom. Entonces todavía no tenemos información, pero si quiere cualquier pregunta con ella, aquí está su correo electrónico.
And I am Amy Knoll. I'm the school psychologist, and it's nice to see you all again. So part of my responsibilities include conducting evaluations. So children that we suspect may have a learning disability or difference. I do the full evaluations to determine eligibility for special education. I also provide the individual and group counseling for people that, consistently need it on a regular basis, and those that may just need a check-in and some support for some of the things they might be going through. And we also do leadership groups, as we've previously discussed. That's been a good way to help good leaders become great leaders and then share that information with other students. I also help with the academic intervention on Tier 3, so those kids that are, have gone through Tier 1, Tier 2, and need extra support. We've worked to help with reading and math in that area. And then I've also provided trainings, which I recognize some of you have been to, through, the Comments and Coffee, through all the different things that we do, during the day for the parents to have support and access to resources, and also to help train the staff on certain topics.
Okay. Ella es la psicóloga de la escuela, Amy Knoll. Ella ha estado con nosotros ya varios años. Ella conduce todas las evaluaciones cuando necesitamos accesos para educación especial, también por discapacidades de aprendizaje o diferentes situaciones así. Ella es la que se encarga de las evaluaciones. También ayuda cuando todo lo que es de consejero individualmente y en grupo, todos los grupos de liderazgo, y también ayuda cuando tienen que hacer intervenciones académicas. Cuando ya hemos tratado de hacer otros aspectos de intervenciones, viene siendo con tutoría o diferentes aspectos cuando se vienen las materias. Y también ella proviene entrenamientos para los padres y recursos también para los padres también, y entrenamiento para los empleados también.
So this is just a little bit of what SEL is. So the curriculum that we use, Getting Along Together in Tribes, hits all of these areas around self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, and social awareness. So this is just a little bit of what your kid will be learning about at Grimway Academy Shafter in their SEL programs.
Eso es un poco de más lo que van a aprender los niños sobre los programas de SEL. Viene siendo educación social y emocionalmente. Es nomás una gráfica dando más identidad de todo lo que están aprendiendo en esos aspectos.
Go ahead, Bobadilla. And so the last part is the last part of this graphic, which is the grayish area, is the family and community partnerships. And so Meetings like this is just informing you guys of what our SEL program is like, and future meetings to help support you at home, to support your child through their social emotional learning.
Entonces, es la primera gráfica aquí, es todo lo que están haciendo ahorita. So, ustedes están en la área gris, que es la rueda más afuera. Entonces, ahí es el comienzo para aprender un poco más sobre la educación social y emocionalmente.
Okay. So that's a little bit about us and what we do at Grimway to help support. So we just wanted to see if you had any questions now that you have the SEL team all together that we could answer for you.
Ok, esta es la oportunidad, como ya saben, todos los expertos que tenemos en la escuela ahorita para ayudar a los niños y los recursos que tenemos. Esta es la oportunidad para hacer preguntas. Si tiene alguna pregunta, puede ponerla en el chat.
Miss Webb, you're muted.
There we go. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the chat. So scroll up here. So has Grimway started the process or heard anything back from the county about getting the waiver for us to open campus to general education? And the answer is yes. We have started the process for our waiver. So we're still in that hopeful phase, right? Waiting for next steps regarding bringing more general education students back onto campus towards our AB model that was approved by our board in the spring. So hopefully we will know a little bit more about that when we come back from break.
Preguntaron si hemos comenzado el proceso para el permiso especial del condado para traer niños para regreso a la escuela para educación en general. Sí hemos comenzado el proceso, pero todavía no hemos oído. Estamos esperando todas las pólizas y las reglas que los van a implementar para hacer eso, para comenzar ese proceso. Estamos nomás esperando. Vamos a ver si después del descanso de otoño ya sabemos un poquito más sobre el tema.
Ms. Reimer, I'm going to defer to you on this question. It's regarding the brief meeting for kids that took place in Lit Block in the spring, and wondering if that will still be an option or for one-on-one for kids that still need support in ELA.
So you're talking about lip lock or one-on, it's two, right? Lip lock and one-on-one support?
Yeah, I can speak to the one-on-one support.
Yeah, do that one and I'll do lip lock.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not familiar with what happened in the spring with Lit Block, but we are working on. So when we come back from break, we are self-contained right now, meaning that the majority of your children are receiving the bulk of their instruction from just one teacher, where typically they rotate through humanities, STEM, and lab. So when we come back from break, we will have some model of that rotation. It really all depends on if we're still distance learning the way we are now, if that waiver has been approved, you know, what that AB model looks like, what the state guidelines, I mean, public health and CDC, if they're still the same or if anything's changed with that. So there's always these unknowns, but as of right now, we are putting a plan in place, not only to go back towards our departmental education, but also to incorporate more frequent one-on-one meetings with our scholars. So that's being built in. It will most likely happen during that lab time. And then getting back to goal setting, kids will be rapid assessing in Lexia this week. I'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end and how important that is. But our teachers will be developing goals, and you guys will be getting far more frequent informationals with the different things that we're getting ready to put in place when we come back from break that will help us really understand where our scholars are and what they need specifically, and then help us to develop goals towards that. Sorry, Irene.
Ok. Preguntaron que si vamos a tener un poquito más de los cambios como teníamos antes con el bloque de literatura. Como ya saben, ahorita como tenemos instructado el aprendizaje a la distancia, es que su alumno nomás mira a una maestra durante el día para la mayoría de las clases. Después del descanso de otoño, esperamos de cambiar a más lo normal que teníamos que cambiaban para cada clase, para darle un poquito más atención a lo que están a las diferentes materias. Va ahorita a la señora Webb a hablar sobre los accesos que vamos a hacer por Lexia, para darle un poquito más idea de qué es lo que ocupan los niños y dónde están un poquito más batallando, para darnos más también una idea cómo prepararnos para después del descanso de otoño. Entonces son cosas que vienen en proceso, es nomás de estabilizar todo a como estemos. Todo depende también si vamos a todavía tener aprendizaje a la distancia o si vamos a estar con los estudiantes en la escuela.
As for the lit block part, I know that our SFA facilitator, Danielle Lopez, has been working with the teachers to help support the ELA curriculum and make it basically fuse SFA and the regular curriculum together. So I know that that's happening in the classrooms, but we don't right now have like a separate literacy block for kids. And we also are doing small group instruction as well in some of our classes to help that one-on-one option or small group support. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, ahorita no tenemos grupos como separados para lo que es la clase de literatura. Estamos poniendo todo lo que es literatura con el currículo junto que están estudiando ahorita. Ahorita la señorita coordinadora de SFA está coordinando todo para hacer más ayuda en ese aspecto de literatura. Lo que sí sabemos que estamos haciendo ahorita es que estamos haciendo instrucción en grupos chicos y también con los niños que ocupan un poquito más de asistencia en ese aspecto.
Okay. Are there things we can do to connect kids with each other for social things? They are doing fine academically, but are so lonely as we are still social distancing pretty strictly. I am not familiar with what safe online options there are out there. That's definitely a tricky one in terms of things that are outside of the school to access. We have implemented the Zoom lunchrooms. So there is a lunchroom Zoom menu, if you will, for grade levels. It's like a lunch recess so that kids can go there. The teachers have kind of identified when they'll be supervising the room. So scholars can have an opportunity to check in with their teachers, but on a more social level. So right now we're really feeling that, you know, during lives, they are, that's their learning time. So it's unlike the classroom where there's multiple opportunities to talk and collaborate and share, there's less talk time for them, and we realize that. So we know that they need more social opportunities, and so we created those times every single day. They have by grade level. We have a PE time during that time. Our PE specialist has time where she's doing activities during that time as well. And it really is, it's not structured. It is just a place for them to go to really hang out and chat, just as if they were at recess. And that is a 25-minute window every day. I'm not really sure in terms of things like outside of the school day. I can tell you that I am looking into like a chess club. There's an online chess club that we can kind of register our school so that they're really only playing with other students from within the school. Having a law enforcement background, I'm very, very cautious about the things I give our scholars access to. Last time I checked, Minecraft EDU did not function off of Chromebooks. That would have given them a platform if we had our own server to play and communicate together as well. So I am definitely open for suggestions regarding that. But of course, the internet is a very, very scary place in terms of just anybody having access to chat. And so we've got to be really mindful about that. So I will continue to look into those things. I know the latest was that online chess. I personally don't play chess, so I don't know how many scholars that will appeal to as an opportunity. But I'm sure there's got to be other things out there similar that are safe. So I'll continue to look into that. Ms. Reimer, do you have any ideas or suggestions? That's not.
Yeah, no, I was going to suggest the same thing. Like, I was totally in agreement with you. Ms. Webb, can you talk a little bit about how the parents and kids can access the Zoom room links?
Let me translate that. Yeah. Preguntaron que si hay otra manera para que los niños se conecten y tengan un poquito más, más tiempo sociable. Obviamente están haciendo bien académicamente, pero estar sin esa parte social entre los niños les falta. Dijo la mamá que preguntó que si no está muy familiarizada con lo que hay en el internet porque hay tantas cosas que no necesariamente es protegidas. Entonces tenemos, como ya saben, a mediodía tenemos un salón de cuenta como un recreo donde tienen los niños oportunidad de convivir con los compañeros durante el horario de mediodía. Esta es una opción. Hay otras opciones que estamos mirando porque sí, los niños les falta esa parte social de lo que es recreo, todo eso, y pierden eso durante el aprendizaje a distancia. Entonces estamos mirando otras opciones para ver qué podemos hacer los niños en ese aspecto. Go for it, Ms. Reimer.
We had a question, Ms. Webb, about how to access the lunchroom Zooms. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I believe the teachers have pushed them out into their Google Classroom or Class Dojo. If by chance the kiddos don't have in their classroom, then the best way to access that would be to reach out to the teacher so that they could have access. You know what, Bobadilla, since you're here, that's something too that we, maybe we wouldn't. Yeah, we want to keep that I was going to say, maybe we could put that on our website, but we need to make sure that it's secure.
Up to date, yeah.
I have the ability to send them out by grade through Parent Square.
Okay.
So if I just have the links to those, I could send those out by grade.
Okay. We might send the link out. It's just a Google slide presentation that's hyperlinked because there's a different classroom because the teachers take a different day every week and then it rotates. So there's actually like 50 different Zoom sessions.
Got it.
Yeah. So, but we could definitely do it that way. Send out the main link in Parent Square. That's a good option.
Annie Salazar, are you still on?
I think she jumped off.
Okay.
Did she? Yes?
Mm-hmm.
No? Yes, she's still here?
No, I think she jumped off.
No, she's
Oh,
off.
bummer. I wanted her to talk about the check-ins.
Yes.
So it's a bummer because the question is about SEL. So every day our kids they take a feelings check, and Miss Salazar, our counselor, actually looks at all of the data from every child in the entire school every day. And she finds kids that are needing a little extra love based off of the feedback we get from the kids in their feelings check. So if we see that a kid is struggling more than a couple days in a row, she will reach out to the scholar and get a little more information as to why they're feeling sad or angry or any of those things. But she is reaching out to families and kids that we see a pattern of negative feelings for. So we are looking at that data. So please continue to have your kid take them. We do look at that every single day. The whole SEL team does.
Preguntaron que cómo estamos chequeando cómo se sienten los niños emocionalmente cada día, si han notado cuando se meten a sus clases, hacer un chequeo de sentimientos. Nuestra consejera, Ms. Salazar, ella todos los días mira todos esos datos que los niños ponen en sus reacciones emocionalmente. Entonces, si mira que un alumno ocupa un poquito más cariño, un poquito más de motivación, es donde ella interviene y chequea cómo están y todo eso. Entonces, eso es todos los días. Cada vez que se metan a las clases hacen un chequeo emocional para asegurarnos que estén bien los niños, o si pusieron que están tristes hoy o que están enojados. Eso también les da una oportunidad a ella para hablar con ellos, para decirles qué está pasando, o qué recursos puedan ocupar los padres, cualquier cosa así.
So there is a question regarding waiver. This question pertains to signing a waiver to come back and possibly not being comfortable with sending kids back. So at this point, we are waiting on we are going through the waiver process through public health. Once that is approved, then we don't need any kind of waiver to bring kids back. That's it. So parents wouldn't necessarily need to sign a waiver in the context presented here. So a couple things. We will continue to provide distance learning during our AB hybrid model as well. So if you are not comfortable sending kids back or have family or anything that would be prohibitive, then your kids will still have access to distance learning. So so there's that option. So as of right now, there still are options. Even though we are preparing to bring kids back, we still do very much recognize the individual concerns of our families regarding the threat that COVID-19 potentially has to each one of our households on a very unique basis. So so please don't feel like that's the only option to come back. We absolutely want to work with our families and make sure that our kids are being educated while at home.
Preguntaron si cuando regresemos a la escuela, si va a haber una opción de si acaso no se sienten conformes los padres o a gusto para que regresen los niños a la escuela. Sí tenemos esa opción porque entendemos que cada situación es diferente. Todo depende si recibimos los permisos, si está todo aprobado por el Departamento de Salud para que lo hagamos en una manera apropiada. Entonces, todo eso hay opciones, pero todo el proceso tiene que pasar para tomar esas decisiones adecuadas.
So the next question is, what would change to scholar schedules if school can open, but they stay at home? As of right now, I envision that their schedule would remain pretty similar to what it is right now. I don't foresee the schedule changing much. I mean, we still have launch and landing, and then lives, which is the core instructional day. We're working on putting that back to where students still have their humanities, their STEM and their lab, and then of course the lunch and small group in the afternoon. So it would remain pretty similar if they were staying at home. Similar, more so similar to what it is now, distance learning wise. No, go ahead. I was just going to ask if there was anybody, because I'm new and I don't know what the instructional day looks like, I just want to make sure that I didn't misspeak in terms of what that would look like. No, okay.
Preguntaron si cuando regresen los niños o si se deciden quedarse en casa, el schedule va a cambiar, viene siendo los horarios que tienen que meterse a clase. Necesariamente no, porque todavía tienen que hacer las clases y las materias. Se quedaría relativamente igual, entonces no hubiera muchos cambios en lo que se viene a todos los schedules de los horarios de las clases. Quedaría igual.
Okay. There's a question about science fair. I have not received anything from the county yet. I'm not quite sure if anybody else on campus has, Miss Irene or Miss Reimert, if anything's come from the county. I know it's usually about this time where we start getting registration and having to attend all of those things. They might be doing it virtually. I think I might have heard something about that, but I can look into it. Anybody want to speak to nobody?
Yeah, we haven't gotten anything as far as I know, but I do know that we, in the next couple months, will be pushing out some science fair stuff just for our school alone. And, you know, if we do get anything from the county, then we can also do that as well. But we are planning to do one for Grimway Chapter.
Okay. Preguntaron si van a tener una feria de ciencia con el condado. Ahorita no hemos oído nada en aspecto en las ferias de ciencia del condado, pero sí en las próximas semanas sí vamos a mandar más información sobre la feria de ciencias que siempre tenemos en la escuela. Entonces vamos a tener más información sobre eso, pero sí vamos a tener una feria de ciencia en la escuela.
So there is a question about attendance. Is attendance mandatory? Yes, attendance is mandatory right now. We are, although we are distance learning, we still have an obligation so long as your children are enrolled here to educate them. So via the Zoom sessions, their lives. The state does have accounting measures for us. They look a little differently, but we do have to account for your child's attendance. Not only attendance, but also their learning outcomes and their learning products. So with distance learning, we actually have more accountability measures now to educate your children. In the past, you know, if they attended, we had to mark them here, and there were different absence codes, whether they were excused or not. We still have the exact same protocol in terms of if your child can't attend a Zoom session because they are ill or for whatever reason, you know, EdCode does provide a list of excusable absences. So it still is a requirement to call the school and excuse absences if they do not show up to a Zoom session. That's why we are so, that's why we're still so very much, you know, calling. You know, we are monitoring multiple ways for attendance right now with the different live sessions. And so you might get a call from us if they're not in launch, and then you might get a call from us if they don't show up to landing, and then you might get a call from us if they don't show up to launch. I think I said launch and landing backwards, but because we do have that obligation, and we do have to show that they are attending, and not only attending but turning their work in. And I know as a parent myself, it's tricky. My kids are on the computer all day long, and I'm presuming that they're logged in their live sessions and getting their work done and talking to their teachers. And you know, right now my husband's at home with them, and so I have to encourage him, like, hey, don't forget to check in on the girls and like actually make sure that they're on, and what they're on their, you know, is their school, because you know they're kids, and it is easy to get distracted at home with siblings and pets and games and just other things on the computer. So having, you know, the Zoom session on, but then multiple tabs open and doing other things. So it is a challenge for sure. And we we know, I mean, we know on personal levels, and then of course professional levels as well, what that looks like at home. So long answer, yes, very much so. And we will have to start reporting those attendances out as well, just as if we did in the past. So truancy letters will start going out again. Home visits will start again. Check the welfare will start again if we don't know. So we really need to be communicating with each other right now in terms of you know, making sure that absences are excused when they're not tuned in. And then, you know, what we can do to support you too, because we recognize that it's hard. And if there's additional things that we can do to help get your kids to attend more frequently, then we're happy to do that as well.
Preguntaron si la tendencia es mandatoria para todos los estudiantes. La respuesta es sí. La razón es porque aunque todavía estemos en aprendizaje a la distancia, la tendencia es reportada al Estado. Cada vez que falte su estudiante o esté aquí, todo eso es reportado en diferentes aspectos. Entonces, están pidiendo más detalles sobre a nosotros de que si cuántas veces, cuántos minutos están metiendo los niños y se están completando sus materias. Entonces, es muy importante que sus niños se metan en las clases a tiempo cuando debe de ser. Obviamente, si hay cualquier problema o inconveniente que tenga, por favor, háganos saber para ayudarles de la manera que podemos nosotros y también estar en comunicación en saber qué está pasando, porque todavía ya cuando empiece más y más y más con el tiempo, vamos a empezar a las reuniones, a visitas al hogar, para saber por qué no se han metido a las clases, qué es lo que están pasando, qué es las razones, porque son reportes que nosotros como una escuela tenemos que entregar al Estado y dar reportes de atendencia, de dónde están los estudiantes, si están aprendiendo lo que tienen que aprender. Entonces, es muy importante que esos niños se metan adecuadamente a sus clases.
Thank you. So one thing that we have implemented, we're just waiting on receiving, is celebration tags. So we have attendance tags that are going to get ready to go out, where we already have our awards assemblies, celebration assemblies scheduled for mid-October, maybe more end of October, to really celebrate student attendance, student achievement. Implementing Lexia, there will be like level up opportunities, and so we're really hoping to help you know, recognize all that students and their families are doing right now, and so that's one thing that we've put into place to help with recognition. You know, it's hard not having our celebration assemblies and different things like that, but we plan on doing it virtually until we can be back on campus. So yes, we are doing awards at the end of the quarter, and we're working on developing what that looks like. So we have celebration tags. Oh, I just have my elbow. Celebration tags, and then also what the teachers typically do as well. As of right now, Camp Keep for 6th graders, there is an opportunity for us right now. It is very limited, but unfortunately there will be no off-campus, like actual Camp Keep, but they are doing, they do have a virtual option, which I know is not even close to the same, but I'm hopeful that it still will give our students a fraction of the experience that they would have if they got to go to Camp Keep, so that they feel like they didn't miss out entirely. So we are looking into that. I taught 6th grade for many years. I'm a huge champion of Camp Keep, and it really does hurt my heart to think that our kids this year are not going to get to actually go. So, but that's,
Preguntaron, oh, sorry.
no, that's just what it's looking like as of now.
Preguntaron si vamos a tener reconocimientos para los niños a lo que cada vez que se termine un semestre de la escuela, si vamos a tener reconocimientos. Ahorita con los programas de Lexia y todos los accesos, ya cuando completen cada nivel les da como un certificado, vamos a estar mandando esos por correo. Entonces vamos a todos los reconocimientos que podamos hacer por mientras durante el aprendizaje a la distancia. También preguntaron si vamos a tener el paseo para Camp Keep para sexto grado. Obviamente ahorita como está toda la situación que está ahorita no podemos, pero sí tenemos una opción de hacerlo virtualmente. Entonces ya que tengamos un poquito más de información, vamos a compartir eso con las familias del sexto grado. Es algo que pues obviamente todos los niños esperaban a esos viajes. Y por las razones que está la situación ahorita no podemos, por la seguridad de ellos también. Entonces vamos a hacer lo posible para darles un poquito, siquiera un granito de lo que es Camp Keep.
I do want to say this, having worked with Camp Keep for many years as both an administrator and a teacher, they are amazing people. Their naturalists are fun and energetic and so knowledgeable. And so I do have to say that I think that the virtual experience, although not getting to go, should definitely be like entertaining and fun and a new face. And I'm sure they will bring it to the best that they can for not being able to provide an in-person opportunity. So.
Lo que sí esperamos durante el viaje virtual es que tengan un poquito más de, algo más detalles para hacerlo un poquito más especial, porque obviamente pues no es la misma de estar ahí personalmente, pero yo creo que ellos sí pueden hacerlo un poquito más especial para los estudiantes, siquiera por ese aspecto.
So I love this question. If they're not able to go this year, is it possible for them to go next year? If it's open, that is something that I would definitely advocate for. Absolutely, on my end, that's something that I would love to be able to provide them with. It really depends on Camp Keep's availability. So because we are smaller, we usually have to share our time with another campus, and I know that that's how they schedule. So if it's possible to get another spot, we could certainly do that. If they're able to accommodate everybody at the same time, that would be ideal. I just don't know like how realistic that is, because having so much experience with them, I do know that, I mean, we had the same time for years and years and years and years. My mom's a sixth grade teacher. My son's a sixth grade teacher. School sites typically hold on to their spot every year. So once you secure a spot, you have priority to it every year until you give it up. So it is possible that because of the situation that perhaps school sites might elect to give up their spot, if you will, or elect not to go. So there might be more availability, but please know that yes, if that is an opportunity for our sixth graders as seventh graders to go, if Camp Keep allows it and the stars align to make that happen, I would absolutely love for that to happen for our kids.
Preguntaron si no pueden ir este año los de sexto grado a Camp Keep, o si pues, fuera posible ir al próximo año. Si hay la posibilidad, si lo vamos a hacer, si podemos. La única barrera que tenemos es la habilidad de los niños que pueda pasar eso, porque cuando una escuela tiene una fecha ya fija, es la que usan cada año. Entonces puede hacer que no tengan fechas disponibles para los niños, pero si tenemos esa posibilidad, la vamos a intentar.
Okay. Oh, SciCon. I haven't heard of SciCon in a really long time. I'm presuming that because it's being mentioned here that it is an option. So I think there are definitely options out there. I mean, SeaWorld even has like an opportunity for scholars. I know I think my mom one year, they had lost their Camp Keep spot and they ended up taking kids to an overnight experience at SeaWorld, which was really cool. But I think that there are definitely things that we can look into so long as things start opening up and it becomes an option.
Preguntaron si podíamos mirar la opción de SciCon. Podemos mirar otras opciones, todo depende cómo van abriendo todas las cosas con el tiempo. Entonces vamos a ver las opciones que tenemos para los estudiantes.
Yeah. So I know we started just okay, 2015. That's good to know. I will look into that for sure. I wanted to touch briefly just on the Lexia core reading program. It is Literacy Week. We've had a lot of fun with our Facebook Lives and of course dress up days this week. I'm going to let Ms. Reimert speak a little bit to more of those details in just a minute, but Wednesday morning, all of our scholars during launch will log in and take the Lexia or Power Up rapid assessment. It should be fairly quick. We're talking 20-30 minutes, I believe, and it's very, very important that they do that independently at home, which is why we're hoping that we can have the majority of our scholars complete it, you know, in launch. I know sometimes it's hard not to help our kids, but with this particular assessment, if they have a lot of help with it, even reading, it does read the questions to them. You can play, they can play the sound to say the question again if they didn't get it. But the more help they have, the more advanced placement they will have, and they will struggle through the program if they do not place, you know, at their independent learning level. Our intervention coordinator will be monitoring Lexia daily. I can't stress enough that personally I've seen it work. As a teacher and as an administrator, I've seen students who were 2-3 years behind grow up to 2 years within the 9 months, within a school year. I've seen many kids grow up to grade level or catch up, if you will. So I'm excited for this program, but in order for it to work, kids have to work on it at an independent level 20 minutes every day. The one thing with it also is that research has also shown that if they do more than 20 minutes every day, it doesn't necessarily like speed up their acceleration. So I know as a mom, like that makes me feel good that like they can get just as good results working on Lexia 20 minutes a day than, you know, research is showing that if they spend an hour on it, it wouldn't be that great of a benefit. So I encourage you to really talk to your kids about, you know, did you do your Lexia today? Same with reflex. I mean, our kids are killing it with reflex right now. I haven't checked since last week, but we had mastered 179,000 math facts, which is huge, you know, and if kids are enjoying it and getting their math facts, that's great. So, so look for Lexia to come Wednesday. I know.
Entonces, el miércoles van a comenzar los estudiantes el programa de Lexia. Son maneras de asesorar a los niños cómo van en los aspectos de literatura, como viene siendo la semana de literatura. Entonces es muy importante que hagan los accesos como ellos puedan y que ellos los hagan a como ellos puedan. Tienen también el poder de que les lea las preguntas a ellos mismos para que no necesariamente los lean. Entonces hay diferentes maneras que los hagan. Traten de dejarlos que ellos lo hagan lo más que puedan ellos solos. Obviamente están en el hogar, es muy fácil ayudarles en los que no pueden entender, pero es todo el propósito es para que nosotros veamos los datos y ver especialmente dónde están batallando los niños o en qué ocupan ayuda o en qué ya están progresando. Miss Webb mencionó que ella ha visto ella ha visto en años antes pasados en otras escuelas que ha dado clases el crecimiento de los estudiantes. Entonces estamos muy emocionados de este programa. Sentimos que sí les van a ayudar a los estudiantes en lo que es la literatura. Entonces eso viene este miércoles.
So thanks, Melissa, for sharing about Lexia and Power Up. I don't have a lot of experience with Power Up, but what I've seen, I love that it has an SEL component embedded in it. So, you know, Power Up is for our middle school. So 6th and 7th grade will use Power Up this year. And I really liked that it was very adolescent centered in regard to like high interest for our kids. So it's not all cartoony and, you know, animated and stuff like that. It really is more appropriate for our older students.
Entonces también lo que tiene Lexia es un poquito más apropiado a la edades menos de caricaturas. Es más más moderno a lo que están acostumbrados los alumnos en estos tiempos para ayudarles un poco más en la literatura.
So, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Reimer to talk a little bit about like literacy events this week, and then we'll wrap it up.
You're muted.
Yep. Okay. So tonight at 7 o'clock, we have Mr. Holiday reading on Facebook Live. So after this meeting, make sure you log into Facebook at 7 so he can read one of his favorite books. Tomorrow, we have our favorite Dress Up as Your Favorite Comic Book Character Day. And tomorrow night at 7 p.m., Mr. Geoff from the Edible Schoolyard will be reading his favorite book at 7 on Facebook Live. Wednesday, we've got Fairy Tale and Nursery Rhyme Dress Up Day. That night, Mrs. Webb will be reading on Facebook Live at 7. Thursday, there's a lot happening on Thursday. So Thursday, we've got the September birthday celebration. So if you have a child who has a birthday in September, make sure you drive through and get a special treat and a little gift from us and get your picture taken. That is Fantasy and Sci-Fi Dress Up Day. And that night, we will also have our literacy fair at 5:30. It'll be very similar to how you gained access to our back to school night. So we will push out that information. You click on your college crew and your teacher's classroom and you'll, you'll be added into the literacy fair. If you haven't already, please come by the school and pick up all of the materials that will be needed for that night to do the activity with the kids. So make sure you stop by and grab that. Friday's dress up day is just to wear your college crew shirt. And also that morning, just to bookmark the reading month, we will have guest readers in all of our launch classes. Mrs. Wiebe has been a great resource and helped us get special guest readers in all of the launch classes on Friday. So yeah, we have a lot of reading to do this week. And also next week, we are going to have a couple of things. If you haven't gone to the book fair yet, make sure you join our virtual book fair and purchase some books. And also during fall break, we will have a little free library challenge in Shafter, similar to what we did last year. So it's an opportunity to visit all of the different little free libraries in Shafter and collect your favorite books there. Sorry, Irene, go ahead.
Thanks, guys. Esta semana, como ya saben, es la semana de literatura. Hoy a las 7 tenemos al señor Holiday que va a leer un libro. Mañana, el día de disfraces de personaje de su personaje favorito de las cómicas. Y vamos a tener, who's reading tomorrow again? I'm sorry. Oh,
Tomorrow is Mr. Geoff.
Ok, va a estar el señor Geoff de la cocina de aprendizaje leyendo un libro. El miércoles, el día de vestir es de cuento de hadas o como canción infantil. La señora Webb va a estar leyendo por Facebook Live a las 7. Todos esos horarios va a ser a las 7 por Facebook Live. El jueves es un día más, un poquito más ocupado. Si tiene un estudiante que cumple años en septiembre, pueden venir a la escuela durante el horario de almuerzo de las 11:30 a la 1:30 para recoger a un postre que hizo los chefs de nuestro café y también un regalito para todos los niños que cumplen años nomás en septiembre. También tenemos nuestra noche de literatura que es igual a la noche de regreso de clases que tuvimos, entonces va a cliquear en la clase de su alumno y ahí van a tener actividades para las familias también. Esta semana también tenemos nuestra feria de libros virtual. Si recibe nuestro newsletter, ahí está la manera de cliquear para llegar directamente a nuestra feria de libros también. Entonces, tenemos muchas actividades durante toda la semana y el viernes es el día de ponerse su camisa de su colegio. Si están interesados en comprar una camisa de su colegio, todavía están de venta en la escuela, ahorita en la oficina. Están a $10 las camisas ahorita. I think I'm good.
All righty.
All right.
Okay. There's not any more questions. Irene, there is a question.
Oh, they asked if they had to come into the school to pick up the special treat for the birthday on Thursday. No, you could just drive up and then we'll take your kiddo's picture and then you pick up your pastry. Preguntaron si tienen que entrar a la escuela para recoger a su postre. El jueves no necesita entrar a la escuela. Si nomás manija, vamos a tener un puestecito por fuera y nomás puede pasar y le tomamos una foto a su niño con un cuaderno de cuenta como de cumpleaños y le damos su postre. No necesita bajarse.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for attending tonight. If there's anything that you would like for us to focus on in a town hall, please reach out, or any personnel you'd like to see here, staff, I'd love to invite them as well. So thank you all so much. Have a wonderful evening. Tomorrow's comic book dress up day. I will be dressed up. I hope to see your kiddos dressed up, and take care.
Buenas noches y gracias a todos por venir.